Yeah, so I watched Akira with my youngest. First anime I've ever officially seen, kind of seen it as an anime, and I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. Um, it was very unique for my I've seen some other anime before, but like going into it, thinking of it as sort of anime, um, just visually, it was very visually striking. Um, the opening shot with the sort of nuclear explosion type thing was immediately just a great starting image that just really draws you in. Um, the atmosphere was very kind of unique. Um, had very Blade Runner esque sort of style to it. But the thing visually that I really latched on to was the little stuff. So the steam and the smoke effects, the tail lights that stay on the screen, to kind of showcase the speed that they're going at. They're going so fast that the lights has that kind of tail to it, which I thought was a really cool way of expressing speed through the animation. Um, I uh, there was the when they go see Akira, when for the first time, and the way the sort of ice and frost sort of was on the doors and would break and crack. The breaths of the cold air from the people, just all those like sort of effects were really cool. I liked all that like really small stuff. I thought really visually enhanced the film by miles. And I think it's that sort of care that you see is taken that really makes it feel like, oh, there's a lot of heart put into the film, a lot of effort and care, and it just really enhances that viewing experience from a visual aspect, I think. Um, Another instance of, oh, also like when the doors open and they would always, those like big doors, and they would view it from uh, the inside. So as the light comes in, you're sort of blinded. It's just that nice, neat touch that really adds to it. There was what else? When Tetsuo is in the hallway and like uh, breaks cracks the floor and the walls and the ceiling. Um, it was just very visually striking in the way they kind of animated that and made it uh, sort of affect the you kind of see a little bit of effect on the warping of your uh, of the view. I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but sort of warping of perspective a little bit, just a hair that really um, adds to it. Really, striking as well. Um, in terms of the story, I really enjoyed it. I liked a lot of the, it's a clear sort of, um, a clear sort of, uh, anti-war, military tech, anti sort of progress is king. Like uh, things can be sacrificed for the sake of progress, type of thing. Um, uh, like I guess decency can be sacrificed for the sake of progress, or proper, the that just kind of idea of like uh, essentially anti-war crimes to a degree, and obviously it's kind of definitely a nuclear Armageddon, nuclear uh, devastation sort of angle to it, which is you think back to it's kind of um, you know 30 ish years later after Godzilla coming out, 30, 40 maybe even, I forget, you still have those, which it's obviously would be a situation because of how devastating that stuff is, but the connections to the bombings of Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, still at the forefront there. You can feel that. In terms of there's some things I didn't care for, like Kaori or whatever. She, I thought she her character I felt wasn't necessarily needed though, and she was. I feel like a lot of instances there was was really much of a situation of violence against her character that was sort of unnecessary. Her character was sort of there to, be, care for Tetsuo as Tetsuo, not as anything else. Was there to also be, somewhat of a sign of Tetsuo not being able to fend for himself and all that. He's powerless. But I felt like there was many ways you can express that without her character. The instance in which she gets killed, obviously spoilers for all this, but that's kind of can be seen as a sign of giving Tetsuo a change of heart. But really, I feel like you could have done that a different way, and you didn't really need to have her die to have that instance. But yeah, I feel like you could have just they could have find ways to do that without her character, because I feel like her character is just kind of otherwise is just has violence acted against her for the sake of Tetsuo's character and his development and whatnot. Beyond that, what else? I did I felt a little bit embarrassed about this, and my daughter being right there, I didn't want to ask her because I would have been a little bit embarrassed to ask, but I looked up what's Akira explained. She eventually caught me and was like, why are you looking this up? Really, you have to. And I wasn't sure if I just didn't catch something in terms of the translation wise, or if it was in terms of just anime itself being a little bit more, I wasn't sure if it was a medium that was a little bit more, for lack of a better word, open-ended, like it wasn't, straight to the point with some stuff, or if it was just a matter of, how they, in this specific film, how they worded things. But the big thing that I was confused about, that I cleared up with my daughter, was K, or Key, whatever. I think it was K was her name. If she played a more important role, because they kind of hinted something, or if and when I cleared it up with my daughter, basically that it was just a line that was hinting at, like, oh, she has some of the power that the kids in Akira has and Tetsuo have. It wasn't, I thought she might have been playing a more important role near the end, and then she didn't really do anything, and I was like, oh, was there supposed to be something, or was this like a detail that was hinting at something in later on, or but it was I cleared up. It was just saying basically that she has this power as well, and that was pretty much it. Another thing that I didn't really catch fully was Tetsuo sort of ascending to godhood type of thing. He was going beyond his mortal shell and ascended to a different sort of realm of reality, and I kind of connected that to what I think, because I was looking it up and trying to find it, but I think it was just maybe something I'm misremembering. But I thought I remember reading something about a interpretation of some of the like first lines of Genesis, where basically an interpretation of it is that God like declares his name and he says like, I am Yahweh, and that's kind of the start of his existence. And so the lines I am Tetsuo, I was connecting to that as like it's his start of his existence, start of his declaration of him as a different being than what his human being was, if that makes sense. But I couldn't find any of that interpretation when I was trying to look it up, trying to tell my daughter about it. So maybe I was misremembering something I read. I really liked the where they had the flashback of Tetsuo and Kaneda at the end. After you have already sort of didn't have any sympathy for Tetsuo, so like that change in his, by the time he was long gone, by the time any sort of rescue was helpless, you're already like, oh well, I don't really care about this character. But then you get that moments where you expand upon their history, which I think is a really interesting thing and really neat, and I really liked it. I don't really recall something else doing some other sort of medium doing something like that, but I thought it was really neat to like have us sort of dislike this character. He wasn't really sympathetic at all throughout the film, and then you have it at the end after there's nothing you can do about the character, which I think is gives a little bit of a gut punch to that. You're like, oh shoot, he was just a kid, sort of situation. I'm trying to think of other things off the top of my head, but no, I mean, overall, the one thing I would say is, I think I would have enjoyed the story a lot more if I was like 15 years old, if I was a teen watching this. Not to say I didn't enjoy it, but I think it would have definitely been a much better experience, much more engaging experience if I was younger and watching it, certainly. But yeah, no, I think it was a absolutely, still fantastic film, and I'm really excited. I think it was a great start because I'm really excited to get into more anime and check this out and see what other visual stuff I can get from it. What other stories there are to tell, and I'm really excited to kind of engage with it because it's that one was already visually very interesting, and I'm excited to see what is capable and what kind of visual stories can be told. And I can imagine that the sort of possibilities are just endless in this medium. And yeah, I'm really excited, really interested, and can't wait, honestly. And yeah, I feel like there's some other stuff to say, but I really enjoyed it, and excited. I just keep repeating what I'm saying, but a little bit of loss for words at the moment. But yeah, very much enjoyed Akira. Fantastic film, and that's about it. Yeah. Anyway, on to next stuff.